Hi. So, I've been reading a little bit of a textbook that I have. Now, this is not a review of that textbook. This is rather a defense of scientific research. So, a while back, I saw a an image that was making its rounds. Apparently, there is a scientific study that is ongoing of a certain type of beetle. And what they are doing is studying the mating behaviors and the mating cycle of this type of beetle. And this has several $1 million supporting it. And people were sharing this, saying that this is why we need to cut government funding to scientists. Hold up there. This is a defense of that, because there are several reasons why we would want to invest in this kind of research. It may, on the surface, seem wasteful and nonsensical, but there are good reasons and useful reasons to do this. And I can actually think of reasons why it would cost even more money than it did. But we'll get into that in a second. So, first off, studying the mating cycle of insects is useful in creating deterrents of and pesticides. It is useful in reducing the number of pests that affect your crops and that affect your citizenry. So that is one use for it. Especially, let's say this beetle is closely related to locusts or something. You would want to study it to prevent a locust infestation in your crops. You would want to study it to help, find a way to halt the reproduction of locusts. That's one reason. Now, another reason that I was reading in my it's actually it's right here. It's Fundamentals of Neuropsychology. Now, in this book, they discuss the reason why we study behavior and the neuroscience of other animals. And the reason why is, firstly, because all animals came from the same place. We're all technically related. So studying behavior and neuroscience in one animal is inherently revealing about the behavior and neuroscience of another animal. But also, we can learn more about how our brains work by learning about how other animals' brains work and comparing the two and seeing the differences between the two. So that is another reason why we study other animals. Now, back to the beetle question. Let's say that the scientists studying these beetles find that there is a gene that is linked with higher homosexual behavior in the beetles. They can then take that information and look for that gene or a similar gene in rodents or in monkeys or in dogs. And if they find the gene there and they find the behavior linked there, they can say more conclusively, this gene causes this homosexual behavior. They can then also take that information and look for that same gene in humans. So it does build up. And the reason why you would want to start looking for that in something as simple as a beetle is because it is simple, because it has a smaller genome. That is easier to map, easier to look at, easier to sequence. Um, so really, we should be funding this kind of research. And I can, as I said before, I can imagine research into the sexuality of beetles that could cost hundreds of millions of dollars, depending on how it is done and for how long. Let's say they do a study of a beetle for 20 years, and they are studying thousands of these beetles for 20 years. And they are studying not only the more social aspect of the behavior, but also the biochemical aspect of the behavior. That would rack up a lot of money. That would rack up a huge amount of money. So I can actually see that kind of research requiring quite a bit of money. So it's not it's not actually wasteful. A lot of this stuff, a lot of scientific equipment costs a lot of money to use, to operate, and to run. So I can see this study apparently had like something like $26 million to it, which really isn't that much at all, especially not in terms of the government budget. That's a very small amount of the government budget. So I would say be more careful and think more deeply about these studies that people are criticizing, because there can be uses and applications that you're not even thinking about that we need. We need these applications. We need to find out these things. That's about all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching. Peace.